We're all familiar with deer, even if we live in the city. They are the ultimate animal icon, covering Christmas cards, town and family crests and shields, gracing the grounds of stately homes. But despite their fame, few of us really get to know them. In the wild, deer are masters of long-distance travel. Alert and fast, agile and bold. And with their regal antlers, they're not afraid to fight. Deer undergo huge changes throughout the year. The only way to really appreciate deer is to watch them grow. The vast forests of the north bear witness to the start of a new deer story. The calf is small, but he's been born to the biggest of deer kind. Adult moose can weigh a ton and stand taller than a man. Right now, the mini moose needs TLC. From birth, his instincts are strong, and he staggers to his feet. His mother's eating the afterbirth. She doesn't want any traces of the new arrival to be left. The world is a dangerous place for deer, especially little ones. It's going to take him a while to master those gangly legs. Mum has double trouble. A twin daughter, taking a bit longer to find her feet. Instinct runs strong in all baby deer. All know they must master their legs. It's the only thing that will keep them safe. Though their mother is careful and attentive, she will fast-track their development. The youngsters will have to go it alone by the end of the year. As soon as the wobbly calf is ready, mother nudges him towards her udder. She'll only provide milk for 5 months, so he needs to get it while he can. Thanks to the rich, creamy super drink, the calf might gain a kilo every day. Mum turns off the tap. She needs to encourage his sister to have a drink. Soon, both calves are stable and quenching their thirst. Under her guidance, they will grow fast and quickly learn the ways of the forest. It's May. At this time of year, there is a baby boom for deer kind. In slightly warmer forests of Europe, another youngster is finding its feet. While the large moose babies are known as calves, little roe deer are known as kids or fawns. In typical fashion for deer kind, roe are born with spotted coats that will fade over time. The mottling helps camouflage the little one in the vegetation, aided by another trademark deer trick. To reduce the chances of them being spotted by a predator, most newborn deer know to freeze. Sit tight on the forest floor, barely moving, unless told to do so by their mothers. It means the mother can go off and feed, keeping herself healthy to ensure a good milk supply. But it's not a strategy without risk. A fox on the prowl. A bark from his mother tells the little one to lie low. The fox is dangerously close. But there's a greater threat looming. Meadows are like jungles to the little deer, and ideal places to hide out. But not today. The jungle is being clear-cut. Mass destruction. The seemingly harmless act of cutting the grass can kill roe deer fawns. Fortunately, this one has the sense to creep out of the way. His mother leads him to a safer spot where he can get a much-needed drink. Most young deer spend their first few weeks lying low. But there are some babies that won't get that luxury. Reindeer take a time out on their migration, using the temporary cover of trees to deliver their calves. This little calf will be born to a life on the move. An Arctic specialist, this species is circumpolar. It's known as caribou in North America and reindeer throughout Europe and Asia. Under either name, it performs the longest migration of any land animal. Some populations cover 5,000 kilometers a year. That's like walking the entire length of Africa. The only time these nomads get a pit stop is when they give birth. But the break will be brief. More than any other deer, the calf must find its feet. Any baby that can't keep up with the herd will be left behind. At just days old, her life of walking gets underway. Like the wildebeest of Africa, reindeer must keep constantly on the move in search of fresh grazing. If they stay in one place too long, the food will dry up. She'll track with the herd over tundra, through forests and marshland, even crossing mountains. Out here, any weakness will be quickly spotted. The golden eagle weighs more than the baby deer. Soaring on 2-meter wings, it has no trouble keeping up with the herd. A wobbly baby is like a sitting duck. A calf falls to its talons. The little female was lucky this time. She rushes to her mother's side to continue the march. It's early summer, and things are warming up. The world over, Bambis are being born and bounding to their feet. sometimes twins, often on their own. Usually spotted. And always with a zest for life. For 10 days, this classic Bambi baby, a spotted fallow deer, has hidden in the forest. But fallow are among the most social of deer, and now his mother is ready to introduce him to the herd. For the first time, he meets other deer of his own age. Everyone wants to meet the new arrival. Most deer babies arrive within a few weeks of each other. The herds are playing a numbers game. If there are lots of babies all at once, it will be a lot harder for a predator to dent their numbers. The little male is shy at first, but it doesn't last long. If there is one thing fawns love, it's the chance to play. Though it's just fun and games, it's strengthening his body, teaching him social and survival skills, and getting him well integrated into the herd. So far, none of the babies have seen their dads, or even an adult male deer. And there's good reason. For most of the year, the sexes live apart. Why is a mystery. It might just be that because the females are not interested in breeding while they have young fawns, the boys can't be bothered with them. But it may be something more useful. It might be that the females and their young have access to the best spots for food and safety, and the males give way to reduce competition. Either way, they form bachelor groups, and for most of the year seem pretty friendly with each other. By getting together early in the season, they can get to know each other and work out who are friends or rivals before hormone levels rise later in the year and things get a bit more complicated. Now, in early summer, their antlers are looking a bit odd. One of the unique things about antlers that separates them from the horns of sheep, goats and cattle is that they fall off every year. Antlers are something of a biological marvel, a wonder of the natural world. They're the fastest growing living tissue on Earth. A deer can churn out several centimeters of new antler a day. They're wrapped in velvet skin, rich in nerves and blood vessels, protecting the new growth and supplying the nutrients it needs. Though the growth is phenomenally fast, it might take 4 months for giants like these red deer stags to complete their antler development. Because of the nerve-filled velvet, the young antlers are very sensitive to touch. But the sensitivity is good. It quickly teaches the deer their limits. They know where their antlers are, so they can avoid banging into branches. Though the antlers can be used as weapons, their main function is to show off. The bigger they are, the more attractive they are to the females. A big rack shows a male is healthy and knows how to take care of himself. During summer, the males rub along pretty well. Peace reigns, for now. Reindeer stand out among the family. They're the only species of deer where both male and female have antlers. In this habitat, it's hard to make a living. Animals must defend any food resources they can find. The female reindeer can use their antlers to clear snow to find plants underneath. But they can also use them to defend their hard-earned meal. The girls with the biggest antlers are generally the healthiest because they get the richest pickings. The antlers also help the females to defend their calves, something the males won't help with, because in Reindeer 2, the males get a bachelor party underway. They have reached their summer feeding grounds, where lichen, their preferred food, is plentiful. For all of deer kind, it's time to enjoy the long, lazy days of summer. The fallow deer fawns are growing fast, thanks to the rich supply of milk from their mothers. Now they're free to roam around the herd with other fawns. The red deer hinds and their young hang out on lush meadows, but close to the edge of the forest where they can dash for cover. The fawns have doubled in size, but are still covered in their baby spots. Enjoying a new sense of independence, they have endless energy and a desire to explore. But it's a dangerous time in their young lives. The deer aren't the only animals with young to feed. A lynx drags a carcass of a young deer deeper into the forest and summons her cubs. These stealthy and powerful cats are one of the biggest threats to the deer herds. Many fawns have survived, but it's still early days. Over their lives, the dangers will be non-stop. But the carnivores don't always have their upper hand. On the plains of the American West, young mule deer are often targeted by the wily coyote. The foraging wild dog spooks the herd. Well, at first. But the does regroup. They're not happy about his intimidation tactics. By joining forces, their 5 sets of pointed hooves are more than the coyote can handle. For once, it's the predator running from its prey. Wherever they share a home, wild dogs are a threat to deer. Whether it's the coyote in North America or the red fox in Europe. But a fox isn't going to dampen the roe deer's spirit. For most deer, summer is a quiet time where boys can hang out as friends, but not for the roebucks. This is the start of their rut, the breeding season. For most deer, this would not be a good time to get pregnant, but female roes have a unique trick. She gets pregnant in the summer, but will delay development until the end of winter. If her body is in good enough condition, she'll commence with a pregnancy. If the winter's harsh, she can just terminate and get herself back into good shape for the next season. One impressive buck in his prime has taken a shine to the doe with her kid. She doesn't seem interested in the buck. But the male fawn does. This is the first time he's seen a buck. He's very curious about the projections on the male's head. Perhaps he imagines what it would be like to have such weapons himself. The buck lacks any parental interest. He's just interested in mum. Regardless of the fawn's curiosity, the buck continues his persuasive tactics, and eventually they pay off. Summer's the most bountiful and relaxing time for most deer, but it can still be fraught with difficulties. It can get hot. Red deer climb slopes to get relief from mountain air. Sometimes drought makes finding water harder. But summer storms can also have the opposite effect. With the ground baked hard, it takes a while for water to soak in. It quickly builds. Animals of the lowlands might find themselves swimming for their lives. Looking for higher mounds where they can rest until the water subsides. Eventually, the summer sun will burn off the clouds. The grass is high around a Japanese river, and a sika herd drop their guard. The youngsters are learning the ropes. Practicing adult gestures on each other. But they're not the only ones on a steep learning curve. A brown bear needs to teach her two young cubs the art of stalking. She takes the approach very seriously. getting her family as close as possible to ambush. It's a game of patience. Not something baby bears are very good at. With the youngsters threatening to blow their cover, Mother Bear knows it's now or never. It's not easy to hunt with little ones in tow. But for the cubs, school's out for today. For some of deer kind, play is not an option. By late summer, the reindeer herds are on the move again, this time in Alaska, where they're known as caribou. Their lives are a non-stop slog. They must constantly follow the seasons to find the best food to support their high-energy lifestyles. The young in the herd are about to face their biggest challenge yet. Melting snow has fueled streams, transforming them into raging torrents. To keep up with the herd, they must cross. Reindeer have broad feet, built-in snowshoes, but they also make good paddles, helping the adults to swim strongly across. So much air is trapped in their warm, thick fur that the deer actually float. But even with the life jackets, the current's too strong for the little ones. The mothers try to keep their calves next to them, using their bodies to shield the young. But despite best efforts, some calves are swept away. Finding themselves landing on areas without a suitable bank. All of the reindeer know that for their own safety, they must keep up with the herd. The harsh reality is that if the calf can't survive a river crossing, it has no chance of getting through the migration. It's the ultimate test. There's no time to recover. A quick shake to get rid of some of the weight of water, and they're on their way. They might be exhausted, but it doesn't matter. Instinct drives them on. The river crossing is just a small hurdle in their challenging lives. It pales in comparison to the next test. The herd must cross a mountain range. For the calves, it's daunting. But to make a living here, they must make the journey back and forth every year for the rest of their lives. Summer is short-lived, and as the days shorten, changes are afoot for bucks and stags around the world. They're starting to lose their velvet. The growth of their antlers is complete. The living part of the antler is dying, leaving the rigid bone structure. The flaking skin is itchy, encouraging the deer to try and help it on its way by rubbing against trees and bushes. The red deer stags are already starting to feel a bit frisky as their hormone levels rise. They're about to embark on the most demanding part of their annual diary, the rut. A short window in which they must compete and win the affection of females in order to leave a legacy in the genes of next year's young. The males start sniffing at the girls to see which might be most receptive to mating. and they need to start weighing up the opposition. The males organizing themselves by size and strength. They're lining up for the big fight that lies ahead. As the weather cools, the deer are hotting up. The girls only play ball if the boys impress them, so the males must put on a show. They pee on themselves and roll in their own waste, a urine wallow, drenching themselves in hormone-laden cologne. Antlers are decorated with grass and leaves to make them look bigger. There's a lot of showing off, posturing, strutting with their heads held high to show off their rack. And all male deer like not only to be seen, but heard. They all have their own distinct war cries, known as a bugle. The bugle is an indicator of fitness. The biggest, strongest bodies will produce the deepest and most powerful sounds, broadcasting to other males the scale of the opposition and advertising the most desirable male to the girls. No two bugles sound the same, not only within species, but between them. From the guttural roar of the fallow buck to the bellow of the red stag, all calls are fit for purpose. The low sounds carry better through the obstructing vegetation of the forest. In North America, the red has a close cousin, known locally as elk or wapiti deer. Despite their close kinship, they have a unique voice. The higher call carries over open plains and valleys. The moose bleats a moa, which the cows seem to find irresistible. In moose kind, the girls bleat back. The sheer scale of some of the stags is enough to remove the competition. They can just round up the hinds and will spend a few weeks servicing them, hoping to father the next generation. This is a tough time for this year's calves and fawns. They need to stay out of the way. They're weaned by now, no longer dependent on mother's milk, but still used to her constant company. Now the mums have other things on their minds and want them out of the way. The mother moose is in season. A bull's picked up her scent and is following her every move. He tests her urine with a gland in the roof of his mouth to measure her hormone levels. The moose calf isn't ready to say goodbye to his mother, but it would be dangerous to be caught in the path of the huge bulls. His mother's popular this year. She soon has an entourage. She'll have the pick of the crop. And in the end, size matters. Of course, in America, the moose are supersized. The Alaskan moose are the biggest deer on the planet. These giant deer stand head and shoulders above the rest, more than 2 meters tall and weighing close to a ton. They also have the largest antlers on Earth. Even the tallest person could lie across them, and they weigh more than the entire body of most other kinds of deer. Younger bulls quickly give way to the king, until another big bull shows up. A signal is sent. Challenge accepted. When equally sized males meet, there is only one way to settle the match. To go head to head. It's time for deer of the world to unite. Antlers are designed to lock together, a different configuration for each species. It's like a brutal arm wrestle, a test of strength. Each stag tries to throw his opponent off balance. The stakes are high. If they fail to hold the position, puncture wounds can spell disaster. Other animals are quick to take advantage of the fallen. It's strenuous enough for all deer, but the reindeer have to do it while the herd's still on the move. the males run themselves ragged, trying to keep groups of wandering females together, and always having to chase away competition. It takes its toll. Time for a power nap. Sleep is a luxury he can't afford. Successful males get to mate. Their job is done. They guarantee their royal bloodlines will continue. It's a massive test of endurance, but its effect might play out for many months to come. The weather is getting colder. Most animals fatten themselves up, ready to get through lean winter months. But the stags have just burnt all their calories defending their honor. Winter will claim many of them. As the weather worsens, red deer leave the open grassy slopes and seek shelter in the forest. With the rut over, fallow deer gather in mixed herds. Politics and hormones go out the window. Now, staying together increases their chances of spotting and avoiding danger during the tough times that lie ahead. Snowdrifts make travel hard. Their pointed hooves sink into deep snow, slowing them down. Something predators know. With their broad, hairy paws, lynx are experts in walking silently across the snow. They take advantage of the deer's predicament. Throughout the northern hemisphere, life for Bambi is getting tough. Wolves are one of the biggest threats to deer, and they share all of the same habitats around the world. Even the largest members of the family regularly turn up on the menu, thanks to the wolves' strong pack mentality that enables them to work together to bring down large prey. They enjoy a rich bounty in winter, when the deer are struggling with hard terrain and poor diets. Though the brain power of deer is not to be underestimated, a huge elk bull is under attack. He weighs more than half a dozen wolves, but they have numbers on their side. They're trying to tire him out. But this king is in his prime, and he hasn't reached it by being stupid. He makes straight for the freezing river. He knows the wolves won't risk the cold and currents. But his thin legs keep most of his body high and dry while he waits for the pack to give up. The snow is tough on some deer. But there is one deer that has such a mastery over its snowy home that it's become an icon of the season to humans. The reindeer. Keeping on the move with broad, snowshoe hooves and cloaked in dense, double-layered fur, they can travel the forest in search of food. They specialize in eating lichen, a moss and fungi growing together as one. It hangs from the trees, grows on the open tundra, and clings to bark. A feast for Santa's little helpers. People are very fond of reindeer. Over much of the world, legends abound of them helping bring Christmas gifts and enjoying the power of flight. They are not quite that remarkable, but wonderful nonetheless. And their relationship with people is much older and stronger than Christmas fairy tales. Reindeer were only added to Christmas tradition in the 1800s, but people have been hunting them for at least 45,000 years. And for at least 3,000 years, living with them as livestock. In some parts of the world, reindeer are considered semi-domestic. They still live out in the wilderness, living off the land, but they're accompanied by humans who migrate with them and help protect them from predators. Some 900,000 people have lives entwined with the world's 3 million semi-domestic reindeer. The people harvest the animals they need from the herd and use every part of its body to make food, clothing, and tools. Unlike most farmers of domestic animals, the reindeer herders have little to do. They don't need to shelter, muck out, or feed their livestock. The hardy deer take care of themselves. And of course, as any child will tell you, reindeer can be used to pull a sleigh. Winter tests the endurance of deer kind. Only the strongest will survive. But that ensures that it is the strongest, healthiest genes that will be passed to the next generation. Spring comes around. For the yearling fawns, their childhood has come to an end. Most will have stayed with their mothers, but the females no longer want them around. They're ready to start the cycle all over again. Last year's young need to use all they've learned to go it alone in the deer world. As almost all of the globe's forests, plains and tundra echo with the patter of tiny hooves, as a new generation of Bambis wobble to their feet.